There is a specific type of brain rot infecting the modern Western world. It's the ability to look at a cage being constructed around you, scream about the cage, and then turn around and hand the architect more bars. I found a video from a British commentator complaining about the UK's new digital surveillance laws. Basically, ID checks for adult content, facial recognition, the works. She identifies the problem perfectly. The government is stripping away privacy. But when she tries to explain why it's happening, her brain short circuits. That's the only way I can describe it. She blames capitalism, she blames straight men, and she attacks the only political group actually trying to save her. We are going to go through this video point by point, and I'm going to perform an autopsy on an ideology that has committed suicide in slow motion in front of us for decades now. All right, we're going to hit point one. I'm going to call this the straight man delusion.
Seeing women as less than. Let me repeat it for those in the back of the House of Commons. Banning and repressing sexual content only serves men like you. Old men who already have everything on a platter, who want easy, lazy, vanilla sex with younger women, where no one actually expects you to pleasure them.
Okay. Time out. I need you to listen to what she just said. She claims that banning pornography serves straight men. Well, let's look at the data, shall we? Depending on the study, men make up 70 to 80% of all consumers of pornography. The industry literally exists primarily to service the male demand. When the government creates digital ID laws that restrict access to that content, that just blocks the site, and forces the user to scan their face in order to watch the video, that is a direct restriction on men. It makes the product harder to get for the product's intended consumer. To claim that this serves straight men is functionally retarded.
Uh-oh, retard alert! Retard alert, class! Do you believe in a flying spaghetti monster too, Bubblehead?
It is a restriction on male behavior. But because her worldview is entirely built around patriarchy theory, she cannot process that the state is treating men like children too. She understands that it's treating her like a child, but she's okay with that to an extent. We'll get down the line here a little bit later. She can't fathom that men somehow suffer negatively from this also. In her mind, if something is bad, it must be because men wanted it, even when the law is literally taking things away from men. Okay, point two that we have is going to be the capitalism scapegoat.
Money to be made. And where there is money to be made, people will find a way to make it. That's why capitalism fucking sucks.
And a second clip, just in case that one wasn't enough.
For big studio-driven porn, which exploits its workers to maximize views and profit. Again, these are all symptoms of capitalism. But surprise, there also exists porn that is made consent.
Okay. These are all symptoms of capitalism. Well, there it is. The magic word, capitalism. She is looking at the Online Safety Act. This is a piece of legislation passed by the British Parliament. This is the state, okay? This is the government regulating business. Porn sites operate under capitalism. Big shock. They want to show you the videos because that's how they generate ad revenue. They hate age verification laws because it kills their traffic and it actually costs them money because they have to implement this stuff, you blithering moron. You are looking at a government regulator who is holding a government gun to a private company's head, demanding that they scan IDs, and you are screaming, "Damn you, capitalism." Get a fucking grip. You are blaming the hostage for the hostage taker's actions, you moron. This isn't a market failure, honey. This is the big government that you voted for doing exactly what big governments do. Control. Okay, point 3 is the tribalism. The fact, this is the point where she is choosing the cage.
Both the British far right and of course the general left hate the idea of mass surveillance. A lot of protests against digital ID, for example, have actually been organised by supporters and even councillors of our very far right party, Reform UK. Now this is bad news because Reform UK are loud, angry and have a lot more resources backing them up than anti-fascists.
I got one more. You know what? Actually, I got one more. It should be here.
To put it plainly, no, people on the left do not want more surveillance.
There we go. This is the most pathetic part of the entire video. She explicitly admits that the far right, Reform UK, are the ones actually organizing protests against the Digital Surveillance Act, against digital IDs as a concept. They are the ones street fighting for her privacy. But does she join them? Fuck no. She says it's bad news that they're fighting for freedom because they are on the bad team in her mind. This is terminal cognitive dissonance. She cares more about her social standings within her tribe than she cares about her actual liberty. That is scary. She cares more. She is watching the left-wing establishment build a digital prison around her, but she refuses to take the bolt cutters from Nigel Farage because she thinks he's loud and angry. She would rather be oppressed by her friends than saved by her enemies. Who aren't her enemies anyway. They're actually campaigning for her. They're campaigning for the people. Who would have thought Reform UK is actually the People's Party, comrade? Oh, but it gets worse. You see, because she pinned a comment on this video. I'll just go ahead and put it up like here for you. She doubles down in this statement. She says that she believes in no borders and that everyone should be welcome into the UK. And that's where she loses the right to complain about the surveillance. Here is the hard truth that ideologues cannot swallow. You cannot have a welfare state, open borders, and privacy simultaneously. You have to pick one. If you erase the external borders, if you let anyone just waltz into your country without checking ID at the coast, the state still needs to manage resources. They need to know who's using the NHS, who's getting housing, who's paying taxes. If you don't check the IDs at the border, you must check the IDs everywhere else. Because you need digital ID to work. You need facial recognition to police the streets. You need mass surveillance to track the population flow because you don't know who's in the country to begin with. Because you removed any barrier to entry to keep anyone out who may be undesirable for your civilization. God, if you ever see this video, Alana, you and people like you are the architects of this surveillance state. You demanded a massive government to feed the world. You demanded open borders to let the world in. And now you are crying because the same government needs to scan your face in order to manage the chaos that you created. This video isn't a warning about the far right. It is an autopsy of the modern left. Get this bitch back on screen. She is a woman standing inside a prison cell that she helped build, screaming at the only people trying to break her ass out because she doesn't like their tone. The British government isn't cracking down on you because of capitalism, because of straight men. They are cracking down on you because you gave them the power to do it. And you destroyed the borders that used to define your nation. Enjoy your cage, honey. You paid for it.